Hey there, Riverica here, reporting for duty on a trigger. Thank you so much for shuffling states of emergency into adoption spirit magic with me and steering clear of danger. Heartily, we are grateful. In this session, we are exploring straightening the camera and the Fibonacci sequence draw. But before that, some disclaimers. I am not a doctor, lawyer, therapist. I am a fortune teller. So what I offer is no substitute for their services. Furthermore, what I share does not determine your future. Only your intentions and your actions do. So please use your gift of discernment before deciding what to gather and take away. And also take only what resonates and blow like a kiss the rest to the universe for cosmic composting back into beauty. And this reading is for fun and games, for shits and giggles, for entertainment, for flexing our heart and mind and heart and soul and spirit and intuition. And at the least, I hope to cause harm to none. And at the most, I hope I may assist you on your healing path. So all that being said, allow me to introduce our helpers. I have lit candles for Source, for Mother Earth, Father Sky, the homeless, those that kick them out of their homes, the neighbors, the passers-by, even those working against our spiritual progression. Also for harmony, unity, and balance, for Archangel Azrael, for our ancestors here in the highest love and light, and for those who have crossed over to Father Sky by suicide and the family and friends they left behind on Mother Earth, as well as the war-torn families, nations, and galaxies. And we thank Source for helping us all adopt success, transmuting those violent cycles into love. Heartily, we are grateful. I also have on the table my wooden dagger wand and my other wooden wand to help lift our spirits, buoy our spirits, and cut to the heart of the matter without harming a soul, and my Tibetan bell to help us clear the space before we begin the reading, as well as my mini crystal ball and my other crystals. We have the Shiva Lingam at the bottom of that row, and then red jasper, carnelian, yellow jasper, rose quartz, turquoise, sodalite, amethyst, and crystal quartz for the main chakras. And then we also have a pine cone. I'll let you guess from what tree this came, but it's in honor of the Fibonacci reading we are doing in this session that shall be for you whenever you are watching this. And of course, like I mentioned before, take only what resonates and blow like a kiss the rest back to the universe for cosmic composting into beauty. And this Fibonacci, you can look up Fibonacci on your own, checking 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, 27 different sources. Pardon me. Seeing what resonates with you and putting the pieces together for yourself, because, you know, free will is real and every human being is a different psychosocial science experiment. So what resonates with you may be different than me. And so I enjoy inviting everybody to check out for themselves many different resources and then putting together your own toolkits as you see fit. So this Fibonacci spiral draw, it's beautiful because the Fibonacci sequence is seen throughout nature in many different aspects, and that's part of the reason we have the pine cone with us today in this session. And so that's so beautiful how that mathematics and the geometry and the nature all come together. And, you know, the spiral reminds us that we never go through the exact same thing, right? We're always learning something and elevating. And that's the spiral. And so that is something super beautiful to lean into, especially during those times. You're like, what the is going on? And you're trying to soul surf through the energy. And so this spread is honoring all of that. And there's 5 cards we're going to draw. The first card is representing the internal influence that you are not able to see that you are dealing with. And the second card represents the issue. The third card is the external influence of which you are aware. And the fourth card is what is needed. And the fifth card is the resolution. And it's set up in a spiral, which you may not be able to see from the angle of my camera. So thank you for bearing with me, and thank you for learning along with me, and for joining me in this session to see what's going to help us move through whatever it is we're facing right now with all the energy going on. Right? There's always something, because, you know, we're here, we're alive, we're kicking. And so before we start, let's do the bell. And I'm going to ring it and say a bell mantra, thanks to Thich Nhat Hanh. And you can say it with me, or you can say it in your heart. And here we go. Please be aware and adjust yourself so your ears remain safe. Ready? All right. Mind, body, speech, in perfect oneness. I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. My hearers awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all anxiety and sorrow. Om. Peace. Shanti. Thank you. Thank you. So, let's see about this Fibonacci draw. You are a whole, full, loving, spiritual being, and so am I. And we thank your source, spirit, guides, angels, galaxy guides, ancestors, saints, sages, gods, goddesses, universes, here for the highest love and light, as well as your source. Didn't ever say that, did I? As well as mine. And we thank your source and my source for shifting the situation into what it needs to be immediately, offering necessary insights, healings, acts of grace, protection. Heartily, we are grateful. So it was, and so it was, and so it was, and so it was. Thank you for making this reading abundantly clear. We're looking for 5 cards in this session. All right, cut. Thank you. So we have magic. That's so awesome. Remembrance. I love that. Third eye chakra. Passion. And discernment. That's intense. And the bottom is Gaia. So beautiful. Gaia. Thank you so much, Lon. The source. So magic. So the first card is what is affecting the issue that you can't see. And this is magic. 31. 31. And I'm triple checking. Yes, internal influence, pardon me, that you are not able to see, but you're dealing with it. Haha, isn't that funny? Magic. So this card 31, 3 is the number of optimism. It is an end and beginning coming together. And so that's super fabulous. And that's sort of what's happening these days, especially right now as I'm doing this reading, and Saturn is entering a new sign, Pisces, and check out how often Saturn does that. You'll understand more about that number 3 and beginning and ending, going from one chapter to the next, from one volume to the next. And that number 1 invokes the creator, and it initiates and begins, and it helps with those victim issues that are at the root of our issues. where we may put others before ourselves or take on their energy instead of ourselves. So 31, magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move towards possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. So that's super sweet. So let's see what else this card has to say from Lon in her beautiful book. Lon is the artist and creator of this deck. You can find her online in different places, and I'll leave a link in the description. So Lon shares about this magic card more in her book. Here's what she has to say. Oftentimes, what we consider to be magic is simply that which we cannot explain within the parameters of our existing belief system or reality. We haven't seen something before, or we were never taught that something could exist, then it must be magic if we clearly experience or observe it. Magic could be described as the explanation we give for something we perceive as real, even though science has not been able to prove it or explain it yet, and our mind struggles to accept it. Throughout history, humans have had a profound fascination with magic, and a deep fear of it as well. Magic holds seemingly unseen and unknown possibilities that can be of immense value, yet our lack of understanding and control makes us fearful of it. We assign great power to it, as described in countless fairy tales, myths, and legends in which magicians, sorcerers, witches, and wizards play significant roles. Perhaps our deep fascination with magic is our unconscious desire to alter our existing reality and expand beyond our current state to become a much grander expression of who we really are. Magic helps us believe that anything is possible, even the things that seem impossible or make no sense. Magic is another word for manifestation. What is clear is that magic requires a deep and unwavering intent and conviction on the part of the magician. An uncertain and questionable quote-unquote abracadabra will simply not do. Changing our reality starts with a deeply rooted belief system that we can. When we are deeply connected to ourselves and to Source, our presence is without doubt. This solid connection is the secret power of all great sorcerers and wizards who, based on their conviction, intention, and trust, are able to perform great magic. Purples, including indigo and violet, are a combination of red, the warmest color, and blue, the coolest color. Purples are associated with the third eye chakra and the crown chakra, representing our psychic, extrasensory abilities, as well as our mysterious connection to Source. It is why they have been associated with magic and mystery throughout history. The center of this activation represents our radiant core, which is strongly anchored into that Source and facilitates our ability to perform our magic with great power and energy. The transparencies represent the vague and elusive spiritual world in comparison to our solid and form-based physical world. Now Lon asks you, try this. Take a moment to go inside yourself and remember where you came from. You are magic, made of energy, pure consciousness. You are a conduit between the world of spirit and the world of matter. You have magic abilities that are far beyond what the existing belief system can explain. How do you perform your magic? What is it that you want to create? And so that is about the first card. And again, that first card and this Fibonacci Spiral draw represents the internal influence that you are not able to see you are dealing with. All right, so that's the magic card. And now we have card number 2, which represents the issue. And let's see, card number 2 is remembrance. The issue is remembrance. Oh my, oh my. So much going on in my head right now. The frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through as a soul and body, providing us with valuable information and tools to flow gracefully with and in this life. Yes, indeed, indeed. And as that remembrance card was coming up, I was remembering the fairy tales and myths in this magic card brought up, and it was making me think of the adoption fairy tales and the gypsy myths, small g's. And those of you wearing those shoes understand what I'm talking about and just how relevant this draw is for you. Thank you so much for being here. Of course, take only what resonates, right? Don't let me tell you what you're feeling or what's for you, right? All right, so 38. What else does Lon have to say about this? Beautiful card. Makes me think of that band Journey, one of their album covers. Maybe a couple of their album covers. It is becoming more common for us to have access to memories of lives lived, experiences gone through, roads traveled, journeys taken. That's funny that I just mentioned the band Journey. Our memories are rapidly expanding beyond our current lifetime alone. Now that we are vibrating at a higher frequency, we are able to access deeper the parts of the grids referred to as the Akasha that hold our collective and personal memories of the lifetimes, of all lifetimes lived. The Akasha of the human being holds everything that the human being has experienced on this earth plane. However, this remembrance is not a linear function of the brain. Instead, it is an elusive and multidimensional aspect of the new human being, a human being that harmonizes the synaptical brain with the wisdom and intuitive thought of the heart and soul. There is an unmistakable sense of the ancient cultures and times in the remembrance image, perhaps Native American or Mayan, and we can see the reference to future civilizations and off-planet connections as well. This is an indication that time is no longer a linear absolute, but a vertical, moment-to-moment experience that includes input from many different times, layers, and dimensions. The blues in this activation refer to the clear communication that comes to us through our dreams, our intuitive thoughts, and our memories. The indigo and violet indicate the higher source behind the communication that comes when our third eye chakra and crown chakra are open and flowing. Must put that down to turn the page. Thank you for being patient. And so now Lon asks us, try this. Take a moment to go inside and contemplate the idea that you have been around for a very long time and always will be. Are you aware of all the times and places you have been before? Do you have a notion of where you are going? Look intensely at the remembrance image and allow your Akasha to activate the memories of your soul's journey. That's so cool. So it was right on time that I was remembering images of this that have come up in my past, and this card was encouraging that. I love that. I love that. So, how beautiful for the number 2 card of this Fibonacci Spiral draw. And this card represents the issue. Card number 2. Oops. I'm going to put those back down. And card number 3 is the third eye chakra. And the frequency of the third eye chakra, The indigo flower of life supports our intuition and our inner knowing, our imagination and our psychic powers. Can you see that sacred geometry there? That all the circles of life, flowers of life, pardon me. Just let me put this down for a moment as I see what the card has to say. Third eye chakra. And this card is the third card, and it represents the external influence of which you are aware. So this flower of life is a geometric shape recognized by many cultures all over the planet. It consists of 13 equal circles that intersect at the middle of each circle, creating a perfectly proportioned flower. As a symbol, the flower of life represents the universe as a whole, as well as the harmony in which all the separate components of the universe work together. This beautiful pattern is often used to indicate our understanding of our connection as humans and as spiritual beings to the whole. The color indigo is associated with the sixth or the third eye chakra, located in the middle of the forehead, just above the bridge of the nose. It is linked to our intuition, our insights, and our ability to see beyond three-dimensional reality into the inner world, so that the conscious can merge with the unconscious. In many cultures, the color indigo has been traditionally associated with royalty, power, and wealth, as we often assign to our authoritarian figures a higher consciousness that is based on a deeply rooted connection to source. Its sense is telepathy. So now Lon invites you, try this. Close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath. Bring your awareness to your forehead, the point between your eyebrows. Now silently ask the universe to bring to your awareness a thought, feeling, or image that would serve you right now, in this moment. What comes up? Oh, if you dare to share that with you, that would be so interesting to hear, but I also totally respect your privacy to keep that to yourself, because, you know, free will is real. Free will is real. So that card number 3 represents the external influence of which you are aware. So card number 4 is about what is needed. And we have number 34. 34, there's that number 3 again. And the number 4, it's like grounded and solid, like 4 feet on the floor. It helps when people are pulling on you energetically, emotionally, physically. It helps keep you in your space. So this 34 is a frequency of passion. And the frequency of passion reminds us that beneath every intense emotion lies the hidden gem of insight, balance, and calm. It assists us in finding the balance within this intensity, moving us from chaos to the calm of its core, where we can let its long-lasting wisdom fill us up. Oh, that's so beautiful. 34. 34. Talking about what is needed. Passion. 34. So much orange in that is making me think of the Svadhisthana chakra, the sacral chakra. So Lon adds to this reading, when we use the word passion, we usually refer to a strong feeling for something or someone. It could be a burning desire, or a feeling of enthusiasm or intense emotion. Passion expresses itself powerfully, like a burning hot fire, as it radiates out from our core. This power cannot be hidden. It demands expression. We long for an emotion that it is so strong that all we can do is surrender to its power. At the same time, we fear this kind of emotion because we are afraid of losing ourselves, our sense of who we are, in the eye of this passion storm within us. But there is clarity and insight to be found in this storm once we have withstood the heat of the fire and have held our balance in the midst of the blazing inferno. Only then can we move to the center and find the insight at passion's core. The passion activation reveals this process of powerful insight through its purple core, its demand for expression, the blue around the core, and the storm of intense feelings and emotions all around, represented by the orange, yellow, and red of the lower chakras. It invites us to become aware of and to burn away anything that stands in the way of finding the valuable insights at its core. And although it could be enjoyable to feel these intense emotions, we cannot stay in this heat for very long without getting burned. Yes, please be very careful, right? We don't want to actually harm any person, place, or thing. Some of this is figurative, and please keep your safe, sound space, right? You are so special. We want you to remain here working your magic. And so now Lon invites you, try this. Take a moment to go inside yourself. What are you really passionate about? Do you love what you do in your daily life? Are your heart and soul engaged? How can you bring more passion into your life? How can you make sure that you don't miss the treasure of insights that lies beneath it? Make time for daily contemplation to check in with yourself and your passions. Super sweet, super sweet. Like, what else do we have to do? Especially if you're here and hanging out with me, we're playing through the losses and traumas, recognizing, they're there, and we are here as well, and we can find a way to enjoy, even though there's that loss and trauma. We can still find a way to enjoy our life and to live in love and light. And so these cards are affirming that. That's super sweet. So that card number 4 is what is needed. And card number 5 is the resolution. And the card number 5 here is discernment. Card 20. And that number 20, you know about the number 0. I invite you to explore some more, 4 or 5 or 6 different sites. It's shaped like a circle. It's like a new beginning and an ending and a new beginning. It's a whole, it's a nothing at all. It's everything at once. There's many different interpretations, so I invite you to explore. And that too is reminding us of sharing power, duality, creating healthy liaisons. That too helps us create healthy liaisons. So that's super sweet, especially for so many of us who were in a situation where we were relinquished and we didn't have a say in the matter, or we were adopted and we didn't have a say in the matter. And so that too, just reminding us that we can create healthy liaisons where we do share our power, and it is an equitable social contract that is fair for everybody involved. So this discernment, the frequency of discernment supports our ability to view the world and the people around us from a place of inner balance and detachment, yet with compassion and wisdom. That's huge, right? And even ourselves. We're seeing people when we're out of our fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fawn, right? When we're out of that place, we can see people from this place of love, from a place of deep inner balance and detachment, yet compassion and wisdom. And discernment, it's one of your God-given gifts, your gifts of discernment, right? It's like when you're learning how to write your first research paper and you're having to, well, you're in a position to learn what resources are you using for your research paper, and how do you figure out which resources are legitimate, and how many resources do you have to help you create this. This is all your power, your gift of discernment, playing with your gift of discernment. And that's what this card is about. Your God-given gift of discernment. Everybody has this gift of discernment. And Lon goes on to say, discernment can be described as the ability to perceive or judge well. Now that we are moving into a multidimensional reality, we are invited to see polarity and duality with new eyes. Living in multidimensionality is about experiencing polarity with discernment, being in balance with it, and moving in harmony with it. Discernment has to do with our inner guide, the higher part of us that is closely connected to Source and can look at things from a perspective of wisdom, maturity, experience, integrity, compassion, and purpose. It is about being in witness mode, being aware without attachment to outcome or direction. In this activation, the color blue is representative of our ability to communicate clearly. It is considered to be the color of truth. The color green is associated with the heart and with healing. Conceptually, circles stand for everything and nothing at all, balance and infinity, purity and freedom. The three circles of discernment are contained by one larger one, indicating the unity and coherence inside the center of consciousness. 3 is a catalytic, 3 is a catalytic number. It stands for an energy that speeds up or creates a reaction between unrelated things without necessarily changing itself. Spirals are like ongoing circles, but they never close, symbolizing that life never repeats the same cycle twice. This is the way that the universal life force ensures ongoing growth and evolution. I love how that came up again. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Source, and thank you so much, Discernment. And so now Lon is asking us to try this. Try this. Take a moment to go inside and see how you feel. Are you centered? How do you view the world and others around you? Are you kind with your words and actions? Do you trust your own perceptions, or are you easily swayed by others' input? Are you observing and listening to others without giving your opinions? Ooh, some intense questions. We're talking about the resolution. I love that. And so appreciate that. And so I invite you to go back and check out any bits and pieces. Maybe you're going to timestamp this before I get to it to help jump back and forwards in this reading to figure out what you may take away, what resonates with you, or to try some of the exercises again in your own space without anybody else influencing you. It's a whole thing, right? Especially for the orphans and the adoptees, where we've been in a position to please other people before ourselves. And so to be able to think, how do I feel centered? How do I view the world? Am I kind? Am I mirroring the madness? I myself have been seeing some of that, processing some of that, and have heard many other adoptees, but don't take my word for it, right? You want to use your gift of discernment, which is how this card reading is ending. This is the resolution, using your discernment. So that is so much fun. Thank you so much for joining me in this session, helping breathe life into adoption spirit magic. Heartily, we are grateful. Until next time, ciao for now. I love you all.